Back at Talladega Superspeedway, under caution for the second time today, as the field now filing by. 7 cars involved in a horrific crash out of turn 4. Safety crews on the scene immediately as action and cleanup continues there out of turn 4. Well, a lot of action coming your way tomorrow morning on ESPN. The Grand Prix of San Marino coming in at 7:50 a.m. tomorrow. Formula One action. ESPN Speedway coverage beginning at 7:50 a.m. And then later on in the day at 1 o'clock Eastern time, the Winston Select 500. There's Dale Earnhardt, who won the race a year ago, currently leading the points by a scant 8 points over Sterling Marlin. That's coming up at 1 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, right here live on ESPN.
And there we see what's left of Randall Ritter's automobile. And you can see that it looks like Darrell Waltrip's car. As Ned said, a car that he purchased from Darrell. And look at that right front tire. Ned, I don't think I've ever seen a tire in that position. No, and look at the dash. The guy knocked the dash out of the car.
And thank goodness he was standing when they took him out of the car.
And, you know, for you folks, dash is Southern for instrument panel. I know you didn't know what I was talking about. Are they still trying to get someone out of a car?
Yeah, it looks like they're working on a Henry Wallace car.
I thought that was Henry just a moment ago.
As we watch the safety work there, I mentioned that Kevin Ray went to high school in East Tioga, Alabama. Specifically, he goes to Walter Welborn High School in East Tioga. I said he went to high school in East Tioga, Alabama. So the young man, a junior in high school at 17 years of age. When I was a junior in high school, I didn't know how to get in a race car, so that's what it looked like.
I know how to spell race car. Of course, I didn't know much when I was a junior in high school.
And Kevin Ray right now is in second place.
Safety crews continuing to work up there, and you saw the car a moment ago of Randall Ritter. And Randall Ritter told me yesterday, as you watched him working now, this incident out of turn 4, and there is Rob Smith, who drove the car number 19, one of the rookie drivers walking around. And we are told they're up there working and around the car number 91 of Henry Wallace out of Prospect, Kentucky, the Moncada Farms Chevrolet.
And that was evidently not Henry that we saw a moment ago on the stretcher waving to the crowd. And that would see they have peeled the roof and roll cage back.
Henry told me yesterday he wanted to carry a message for the folks in Oklahoma for the problems they've had out there, and in respect for them. I didn't see his car to see if he had it on there or not, but he said that was his plan.
Henry's 32 years of age, involved in farm management, manages a farm, driving a Chevrolet Lumina. Let's check in with Kyle Petty.
Yeah, Ned said that Henry was going to carry some decals and stuff. On the hood of his car, he had painted the outline of the state of Oklahoma, and he had a star indicating where Oklahoma City was. And he had planned today on donating 25% of everything he won here to the Disaster Recovery Fund for the United Way of Oklahoma City. So, you know, and he's had a sign on the hood right up under the, I guess right up under the stake where he had it said, "Our thoughts and prayers are with you today." And that was from Henry and his crew and stuff. So right now our thoughts and prayers are with Henry, guys.
Exactly, Kyle. And you know that how important it was for Henry to be able to donate some money to Oklahoma. This would have been his last race as far as his competition for 1995. He told me he didn't think he'd run anymore because they're out of money. They didn't have a sponsor, didn't have enough money to be able to run at Pensacola or Louisville coming up. His best finish, a 9th at Pocono back in 1994. Once again, we're under caution for the second time today due to this incident up in turn 4 involving 7 cars as they are spinning wildly here at Talladega Superspeedway. Back with more ARCA action after this. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, Talladega, Alabama. Still under caution for the second time today. 7 cars involved in an incident as they have pulled Henry Wallace out of the car. And they have been working feverishly. And, Bill, the crews of these tracks are excellent now.
Well, yeah, I firsthand know what Henry Wallace is going through because I had the same type of a wreck in Michigan back in 1989 when I broke my neck. But the safety crews at these racetracks are excellent. And the safest way to get the driver out, even if they don't know what the injury is, to cut the roof open and take them straight out with a backboard so that if there is any type of injury, they can correct it.
You see him now working over the car number 91. They do have Mike Wallace out on the stretcher there. And we will tell you again, the cars involved, Randall Ritter, Henry Wallace, John Todd, Rob Smith, Andy Belmont, Bob Dodds, and the driver now that's standing by with Michael Waltrip. Mike?
I'm with Mark Gibson. Mark said he saw a lot of the guys in the hospital, and how were they, Mark?
Everybody was awake. Randall Ritter, he had a neck brace on, but, you know, it looked like he was awake and doing pretty good. Belmont left ankle was bruised. John Stradman, like bruised ribs or something like that, complaining of. John Todd was fine. And now I think that was the only ones in there when I went in. So I think everybody, those four are fine.
What happened up there, Mark?
I don't know. I looked across and saw smoke and got out of the gas and thought we had a path to the outside, and then 2 or 3 cars just stood on their brakes and turned sideways in front of us and got in the back of John Todd, and I think he hit somebody else. But it happened way ahead of me. Andy Belmont said somebody came down the track and hit him and spun him back up the track. So there's Andy right there if you want to catch him. He might have seen a little more.
I'm with Andy Belmont. Andy, did you see exactly what happened?
Did I see it? Well, all I could see was my mirror. We lost oil pressure coming off second turn. I shut the motor off. I mean, I'm going down the backstretch just coasting. No motor off, waving. I was all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack and making my entrance to pit road, going to put her on a trailer, and got clobbered. So I wish I could tell you what happened. I mean, it's just one of those deals where here we are getting our ESPN moment again. You know, airtime. I think, you know, I need to go up there and just get lapped by Michael Waltrip. I'd be happy over there. So we're all right. You know, it's just another one of those deals where, you know, Allen Engineering, Southland, we got to go home, put her back together again. But we'll be all right.
All these guys, you know, enjoy the racing, and they understand that this is just a part of it. It's a bad part, but it's a part of it. He limps away, Andy Belmont does.
It's amazing. Look at that car, and there's just no damage at all to the right side. All the damage to the left side of the automobile.
And as Bill Vittorini mentioned a moment ago, you see the reason you see the top of that car peeled away, that's because the safety crews did that for the reason of getting the car, extricating the car, the driver directly out of the car from above. That way you don't have to bend him over at all and try to get him out of the window, and that's why they've cut that roof and peeled it back away. Still under caution for the second time today at Talladega Superspeedway. The incident once again involving 8 cars, the number now we are being told, and they are Randall Ritter in the car number 31, Henry Wallace's car you're watching here being pulled away, the car number 62 of John Todd, Rob Smith in the 19, Andy Belmont you just heard from, the car number 5, the car number 7 of Mark Gibson, and this driver, John Stradman, who's standing by with Michael. Mike?
I'm talking to John, and he's trying to explain to me what exactly happened. I think he might have been right there at the beginning of the wreck. John, what happened?
Yeah, I seen the whole thing happen. We were going into 3 there, and the one boy came up underneath me and just kind of took the wind off my spoiler and just run me real high. And I was okay, but then the one car, I think it was a 31 car, tapped the 91, if I'm not mistaken. And he just came right on into me, T-boned me, and it just hit me in the wall head on. And just, I'm all right, honey. Kim, I'm all right. I love you. Just got the wind knocked out of me, and we're going to get some x-rays on my shoulder, but I can move it, and we'll be back for Pensacola next week.
Well, that's good news. You don't got your shoes on. Is there something with that?
They took them off in the ambulance, and then she started scraping my feet.
Well, that's not a bad deal at all. Get a feet scrape with a stop at the hospital. I'm sorry to see you out of the race, John.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
And we might mention that's part of the trauma assessment, getting your feet tickled, as some of the drivers call. It's the Babinski test, where they check for your neurologic status, and a feet scraping, as John Stradman put it. Unfortunately, he's able to smile and walk away. One look again at what happened here just a little bit ago up in turn 4.
It's hard to say exactly what happened. There's the 5 car in the middle of the racetrack. There's 97 Henry Wallace. And here comes Randall Ritter. He's going to plow into the 97. And once again, the 5 car there. We see Rob Smith in the 19. He was up on the outside wall. And I don't know who that car was that stalled. And the red car came along and banged him.
Caution continuing at Talladega. When we come back, we'll have green flag racing in just a moment. Stay with us. Today's Speed World coverage of the Food World 500 being brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Firestone, America's tire since 1900.
As we're getting ready to restart this race, some of the guys stopped earlier and made 2 tire stops. Mark Stahl, Mike Wallace, I think maybe Gary Bradbury. Now they came back in, a couple of them did. I don't think Mark Stahl came back in at all, but Mike Wallace came back in, changed left sides, and so did Bradbury. But they've been running through that debris with those right sides, so a flat tire, they got to be very concerned about that right now.
Okay, we're ready to go green flag racing.
Crowd on their feet here on a beautiful day in Central Alabama. Lap 47 of 117, which make up this 500-kilometer, 312-mile event.
There we see Stahl and Kevin Ray. The 17-year-old young man is running second. The white number 2. And there we see Bob Hill go by. Mike Wallace.
If you wonder about Jeff Purvis, he was one of those cars that came in, went right back out, but came back in then to change 4 tires, so he's back on the restart in 9th place.
And Mark Thompson goes by Kevin Ray, or tries to go by Kevin Ray, to take over the 2nd spot.
Ray hanging right up there in the draft on the outside, and we've already determined the outside groove seems to be the fastest one here today.
At 30 car, Ron Bouchette out of Walkertown, North Carolina, High Point betting car.
He's 1 lap down, but he's running up in the lead pack here.
I saw Jeff Purvis go by in the 1 car. And still Thompson and Ray side by side for the 2nd spot.
Mark Stahl being shown as the leader in the car number 32 as they battle door to door behind him about a car length back. And the veteran Mark Thompson, the Phoenix Air Ford, now getting a little drafting help down on the inside.
3 abreast. It worked for just a moment as Mike Wallace dove to the inside of Bob Hill. And now they're going to try. No, please don't. There you go. Kevin Ray right in the middle of the racetrack.
Here comes Jeff Purvis. He moved to the inside of Andy Hillenberg.
Boy, he had a run going, and he just floated right on by them before they got to the turn.
Mark Thompson, the black car, is your leader. Mark Stahl in 2nd. Kevin Ray 3rd. Bob Hill is 4th. Mike Wallace 5th. Look at Kevin Ray. Started in 15th spot. Currently being shown in 3rd position.
I'm impressed. I really am impressed. He's driving well, and he's driving with maturity, with sense, I should say, or maturity, whichever you want to call that. Mike Wallace once again is trying to get by Bob Hill.
And Jeff Purvis comes along with him in the car number 1. That might help Mike Wallace to make that pass.
But Bob Hill comes back on the outside.
Yep, and that outside groove has been so good here today.
Bob Hill has 3 pretty good finishes here at Talladega. He's finished 4th, 5th, and 6th. In fact, last year he finished 5th.
If I'm not mistaken, that Bob Hill car has a Richard Childress motor in it, too.
Sponsored by Friskus, the cat food. And there we see Purvis has been able to get by. Also, Mike Wallace. Hill is now back in 6th spot.